Today, we become legends.
Today's Titan Talk had Merlin on, one of the audio directors for Smite 2, so there were quite a few audio and music focused questions, but also plenty of other questions about the game in general, the next gods coming, all that stuff. So without further ado, let's jump in with today's Titan Talk recap. First up, they're working on a fix for the ghost rolls on the Silent Strike chest where you wouldn't get a skin but it wouldn't take your diamonds, so they're going to be having a fix for that coming out pretty soon. Your Moja 3 and your Mirror Wall breaking your own Magi's bubble was hotfixed recently, so that should be working as intended now. They also fixed the match audio persisting during the end of match lobby. Thank God, my ears can finally rest and not be bombarded by an enemy has left the game for like 15 minutes after the match ends. Kilgoon also mentioned that some balance changes are being cooked up in the background that might be going live later this week, but no exact details on when that's coming and what's changing. With the addition of music packs in OB5, Kellen shared a list of the top 10 most popular music packs in Smite 1, which I thought was pretty fun. I love it when we get data about this kind of stuff, so here's the full top 10 list on screen of the most used music packs. There is one music pack missing from the chest currently, which is the Celtic theme, because there's going to be a St. Patrick's Day event going on from Friday this week over the weekend with some free rewards, and one of those is the Celtic music pack. Someone asked about the most successful skin lines they've done, and Kilgoon said in general the success of a skin line directly correlates to how many of that skins there are, because they make more skins for the themes that sell well, obviously. He did mention specifically that the food skins and the Shadow Spirit skins are some of the best performing lines, which does make sense. They have a ton of reps in the game, and we even got another food skin recently with the hot sauce Poseidon. The Shadow Spirit line is one of my personal favorites as well. In terms of general themes for skins, Kilgoon also mentioned that angel themed and demon themed skins generally do well. Someone asked about God sound design, and Kellen basically said he'll sit down with the designers of the god and try to interpret what they're looking for and make sure they can find a unique sound design for them. For example, fire sounds can't just be the same across all fire gods, so they would need to find some kind of unique fire sounds for each one with their own theming. They also try to incorporate similar sound design across the entire god to give the whole kit a cohesive, easily identifiable sound rather than different styles and tones on each ability. They also talked about how skins can sometimes cause issues with sound design, like the Bunny Scylla skin where the dog's barking is a core sound that Scylla's abilities make, and players identify that sound instinctively when playing against her. So even the bunnies in the Scylla skin will make dog sounds, because changing that would have too many gameplay implications that they don't want to bring up. So in later designs, they tried to make it a bit more generic, but with still identifiable sounds that would work more across different skin themes, so they can keep the core sound cues of abilities but modify other parts of it in the skin. Someone asked about the 2D versus 3D and dynamic audio that was mentioned on Titan Talk a few weeks back, and Kellen basically explained that most sounds in the game are subject to what's called dynamic mixing, where the sounds can be raised or lowered based on how much you need to hear them. Like, for example, if you're being hit by something or hitting someone with something, that sound needs to be louder than an ability going off next to you but not hitting you. This kind of stuff is really important to have that audio feedback as well as visual, especially in a third-person game where you can only look in one general direction at once. Being able to hear crucial sound cues is very important. Humans also react to audio cues much faster than to visual cues, so some abilities you'll hear them going off before you see them, which has gameplay implications as well. So getting the audio right is super important, and they're continually working on this kind of stuff in the background to address the common feedback that abilities and attacks don't feel impactful in the same way in Smite 2 that they did in Smite 1. Someone asked about a fictional band in the Smite universe similar to League's KDA and Pentakill bands, and it sounded like they probably won't ever do this and will just stick to music themed skins, as it takes a lot of work and marketing to really get people invested in said fictional band enough to buy the skins and that kind of thing. On a similar note, someone asked about a Smite TV series or movie similar to Arcane, and the answer was basically the same. They've talked about it and even had pitches from the team in the past, but it's incredibly expensive and time consuming to make a TV series that's actually good, and Smite would probably never be in a place where it's bringing in enough to support something like that. They said they're looking into the From the Nether music pack not being in the chest, and also they're looking to adding the default Smite 1 theme to Smite 2 as well. Someone asked about announcer packs making a return, and they said they're very aware people want them back and they're working on it, but it does take quite a bit of work to get them in. As with music packs, some won't be able to be ported due to licensing issues, and some are from people who don't work at high res or no longer work at high res, so they'll have to ask permission for those ones, but they're aware that people want announcer packs and they will be coming at some point. Someone asked about how gods look quite a bit different on low settings versus high settings, and Kilgoon basically said that's because of lighting for the most part. In UE5, the lighting is a large part of why things look the way they do, and dropping settings to low can change the way lighting is rendered a lot, so it can make the models look very different on low settings versus high. Kellen actually teased something a little bit bit about Guan Yu and that the sounds of his original bongos might be returning in Smite 2, which is cool to see. He said they won't necessarily be coming back per se, but they are doing something in regards to the bongos for Guan's Smite 2 release, which is cool. Someone asked about stuff like the DJ skins syncing up their music when played together, and Kellen said that was somewhat of a nightmare to set up and get to work properly in Smite 1, but he's looked into that kind of stuff, and on UE5 it seems like it will be a lot easier, which is promising to hear. Kellen said he wanted to set up some kind of playlist system as well for music packs, where you can take, for example, your favorite intro track from one music pack, your favorite tower destruction track from another, your favorite god kill track from another, and so on, to create your own music pack in a kind of way. He said no promises on this, but it is something he'd like to do. Random selection for music packs is also on the list and should come at some point, depending on if they want to just do true random or random from favorite list, that kind of stuff. And finally, they said that Merlin will likely be revealed on Monday's talk next week, which is pretty exciting. Be sure to subscribe here if you want to catch my recap of that as soon as it drops. But that's it for today's Titan Talk recap. Catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.